A lone wolf. Well, I've news for you. Formula One is a team sport. It always was.
A question for all three of you to start, because this is a one-of-a-kind production, and I want to know a little bit about finding sources of inspiration, because you have research, you have training, you have your scene partners, you're shooting during live F1 events. What would you say is the most unexpected place you found inspiration for your character along the way?
That's a good question.
Unexpected is hard, but I'll go while you're thinking. Okay,
You don't have a lot of time.
Bernie Collins is a strategist in real life and in F1, and she's from Ireland. So the minute I met her, I was like, I kind of kept the backstory similar to my education and my backstory, because she was from Ireland and we had a similar like trajectory of, you know, school, all girls convent school. So that was mine, but it's not unexpected, so that's not the best answer.
Still meaningful, it counts.
Thanks.
I'll give you some more time, Javier. Mine was.
Thank you so much.
Mine was this soccer player, football player. I'm just saying soccer for you guys.
Yes.
Lamine Yamal. He plays for Barcelona.
Oh, cool, guys, yeah.
You a Madrid fan or Barcelona fan?
Atlético del Madrid.
What a shame. Anyway, so, but he's this young kind of guy who's burst on the scene, and I saw a lot of similarities between him and Joshua, and it just kind of hit me. But
Absolutely,
yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one. Mine, nothing. I inspire in my own skills. You know, I have it all. I embrace.
You kind of do.
I have it all. I have the looks. I have the brains. I have the money. I have the body. I have the. So I don't need anything. They put me just on the set and I go, and
You go, la, 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 la.
I believe it all. I could picture it. Javier, I have a specific question for you based on something Joseph said about your character and your performance in our notes that I just loved. He said your performance as Ruben is the emotional beating heart, the love and passion for Formula One in this film. How would you define Ruben's love for F1 and maybe why it's so uniquely infectious and such an important beating heart for the film?
But it's funny because I don't even drive. So
Yeah, I know Brad keeps saying that in every interview, yeah.
so I have to really act out of it. Like, our life is in danger. And I go, what am I talking about? I don't even know that a car has 4 wheels. I think it's about the relationship with Brad's character. It's about the love and the respect and the need of really being the other one for the other and giving it all for the team. And it's about the team. It's about being able to sacrifice yourself in order to do something for the group. No?
The emphasis on teamwork here made me very, very happy. Kerry, for you, your character is the first female technical director of an F1 team, and that is something that is flat out stated in the movie, but I was wondering about making sure we also felt the importance of that throughout, which I found you to be very successful at.
Yeah, I didn't really see it that way because I think I didn't want her to feel that she felt it that way. Mm-hmm. I feel like every technical director feels pressure because there's so many, you have to answer if it doesn't work out. Even if it isn't your decision, you're collectively getting all this information and you make the decision. So I kind of just made her fit in with everyone because if she studied engineering in college, that's usually men. So it was quite similar environment. So I didn't really want to make her. I didn't feel like that either. I just felt like I was in the team. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of fitted in with everybody.
I loved it. And her authority is just something else. Leaps off the screen from top to bottom. I loved it. Damson, I have to talk about the training here. Give you a big 2-part question about that. What was the aspect of training to drive a race car at high speeds that came most naturally to you? But then I also want the opposite, the part of that training that, took the most work to perfect and get just right.
Natural was just the aesthetics of it. I'm naturally gorgeous, so it's worked out.
Oh.
Yeah, showed up. Same way.
Sensing a theme here.
Same way.
Yeah, but the unnatural thing was really just getting in those cars and the repetition of going around the tracks. I mean, we'd train sometimes do 30, 40, 50 laps sometimes. And driving up to 180 miles per hour. We went from F4 all the way up to F1. I'd do neck exercises, which isn't something I was used to. I mean, still today, my neck is very strong. I actually broke a chain while we were filming. Yeah, just broke a chain. But there's so many different aspects to Formula One training that we needed to do in order to walk and talk like the characters. And just being in the garages and being around all the stunt drivers, from Luciano Bacchetta to Craig Dolby, I mean, it was just an amazing experience. Yeah.
There's another aspect of that you had mentioned in our press notes that I wanted to ask about, because like you have the training, but then on top of that, you need to be able to act in the car. You just listed a whole multitude of things that you have to keep in your head at once, and it was making me wonder, what is the key for you for, I guess, kind of quieting your mind and not feeling the weight of all the things that you have to be worrying about, but rather just like being in the moment and doing it?
Have fun. Have fun. The main audition process for me was a driving test. And I never forget getting in that F3000 in Bedford. It was a wet day and I'm driving the cars and the cameras are rolling and I totally forgot it was an audition. And I looked at the sky as I was going down the straight and I was like, wow, this is paradise. Kind of like, you know? So Joe and they would have seen that. They would have been like, cast him!
Yeah, because you were relaxed.
Hold on,
So relaxed.
You made the audition in the car?
Yeah, they made them try it
Wow,
out.
didn't know
yeah.
that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I guess it was wise, because if you couldn't do it, it would have been a disaster.
Right.
Exactly. If you
Thank God
couldn't
they did that
drive.
to me.
Yeah, that's the... That would be funny.
No, they made me an audition pushing a car. Okay, let's go to first.
I think it's really wonderful that Apex are giving second chances to the elderly.
It's all right. You're just worried I'm quicker than you.
You're making a mistake.
I wanted to start with two questions about working with Lewis Hamilton first.
Yes.
So first I want to focus on his, I guess, unique passion for and approach to F1 racing. How do you think we can feel his unique passion for it kind of running through the veins of this film?
You're going to feel Lewis's influence in many ways on this film. First of all, from the very beginning, Lewis said to me, I haven't seen a film that really captures what it feels like to be in the car. You know, how are you going to do this? So that was a challenge he kind of gave me early on. You know, hopefully we accomplished just with the way that we shot the film practically and, you know, developing a whole new camera system and building the cars and having Brad drive the car. But almost just as important, you know, what Lewis did was really talk to us about kind of the more spiritual side of driving and why these guys do what they do. And that sort of insight is invaluable and really informed Sonny Hayes as a character and specifically some, you know, really important scene in the film. A lot of that came through our conversations with Lewis.
I might tap into that specific scene in a
Yeah.
little bit, but first I want to stick with working with him. You know, as a producer with a real future in this industry, what is something unique to him in terms of his understanding of filmmaking and storytelling that you think is going to make him a major asset to this industry going forward?
I mean, Lewis, his interests are so broad, his influence goes way beyond motor racing. I mean, he's an icon for so many different reasons. He's interested in music, he's interested in film, he's interested in fashion. He's one of these people that can make a profound difference in so many different ways. So, you know, to be able to be a part of his first film was a real honor, and I'm sure, like you said, I think it's going to be exciting to see kind of what he does from here.
Especially with this. It's one
Yes.
heck of a first feature.
It's a good way to kick it off.
Very
Yeah.
impressed. I want to dig into the camera systems now, and I kind of want to compare it to the cockpit camera system that you
Yeah.
built for Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Can you isolate the single most challenging part of that camera configuration to crack, and then compare it to the most difficult part of the camera configuration in a race car to crack here?
Yeah, with Top Gun, it was just about seeing how many cameras we could fit into that cockpit. I mean, just getting one camera in, the Navy at first said was not going to be possible. We ended up getting 6 into the cockpit for that movie. All in, it was a couple hundred pounds worth of gear, which on an F-18 doesn't affect its performance at all. When it comes to Formula One, it's a very different story. Every ounce you add to a Formula One car slows it down. And if I'm trying to keep the speed up and satisfy Lewis in terms of the speed of the film, we had to come up with a completely new camera system that was much smaller, much lighter, to not affect the performance of the cars. And then I wanted to go beyond Top Gun. I wanted to see if there was a way that we could actually move the cameras while we were shooting. So we worked with Panavision and developed a brand new camera mount that allowed us to swivel the camera real time. So while we're shooting, I actually had control of the camera and was able to move with the action to connect the actor and really see that it's Brad and Damson driving these cars themselves. There's no stunt driver, it's them, and when the camera moves and you can connect it, you really feel that.
The first time I saw the camera move, I'm pretty sure I audibly gasped.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so impressed by that
Thank you.
aspect of it. To continue to be super specific about
Yeah.
it, is there one particular car maneuver on a track that is most difficult for you to photograph?
The accidents, the spin outs, where the things are out of control, those are the trickiest because, again, we're trying to make it feel as real as possible, but we're trying to do it in a safe way. I think I can say that Brad and Damson had a few maybe surprising spins while shooting the movie, and we were able to use that footage and work it in. So it's not all Hollywood magic. Sometimes what you see on the film actually happened.
Really something else. So that was leaning into the visuals of it all, especially comparing Top Gun to this. I'm curious about tackling that from the score perspective with Hans, because
Yeah.
you're reuniting here.
Yeah.
Can you maybe speak a little to how his score and what is required of it needed to change in terms of giving us such an immersive feeling about being in a fighter jet versus giving us an immersive feeling of thinking that we're actually in the car with them?
Well, Hans is one of the greats for a reason. He writes themes. He has a way with melody that, it sticks in your head and you remember it forever. I mean, his concert is a perfect example of that. So with Top Gun, we were kind of building on this legacy that from 1986 and expanding on it. With F1, we had to start from scratch. It's a brand new film. We needed a theme that we could use throughout the film. Sound-wise, he's done racing films before, so he knew that finding something that was going to cut through the incredible sound of these cars was going to be a challenge. And I think he did that. So, yeah, I can't wait for people to hear it. I think it sounds different than any Hans score he's done before, but at the same time has that classic theme that you want to hear from him.
Great success for him as always.
Yes.
Wanted to end with a quick question about Miami Vice, because with Top Gun Maverick and now with F1, you're kind of revolutionizing how immersive a movie can be. So how do you hope to do the same with that movie, but in a different way?
Well, Miami Vice is really special to me. I think while other kids were reading comic books, I was tuning in and watching Crockett and Tubbs. And there's something about that show. It was so revolutionary at the time. It really felt like you were watching a movie on TV. So I'm really excited to dive into that world. And I can't say too much about it yet, but really excited about kind of finding ways to immerse yourself in the world of that show.
Bring it on. I'm quite hyped. And in the meantime, I cannot wait to jump back into this world. So I'm going to say huge congratulations.
Thank you
Something
so
else.
much. Appreciate it.
Ever seen a miracle?
Not yet. How do you think I'd feel if you die on the track?
3 laps. 3 laps is a lifetime.
I have to start by focusing on the fact that you shot at live F1 events, which my brain still can't compute how something like that is possible. Can you tell me who's the first person that came up with that idea, and what was your initial reaction to it?
It was Joe Kosinski who came up with the idea, who directed Top Gun Maverick and directs this movie. He said, we're going to make the most authentic racing movie ever. So the first thing we did was we contacted Lewis Hamilton. Joe knew him because he wanted to be an actor in Top Gun. And when Joe explained to him, I need you for 6 months, he said, I got a day job, I can't do that. I got to get in my car. So that started that relationship. And he said, sure, I'd love to jump in and help you. And he's a 7-time world champion, so you got the best of the best helping us. And then we went to Mercedes, who he was driving for at the time, and they built the car and designed the car along with Joe, because Joe was an architect and an engineer also. So we had Lewis, we had a car. We got in Brad Pitt earlier. After Lewis got involved, we got Brad involved. He always wanted to be part of the racing world and loves fast cars and motorcycles and all those kind of wonderful things. And so we had the making of a terrific movie. But what's interesting about this and about the sport, first of all, if you don't know anything about F1, that's great because we take you in their world. There's only 10 teams, 2 drivers to each team, and it's the only sport where your teammate is your competitor because everybody wants to be the number 1 driver. That creates phenomenal tension and drama, and that's what we used. So what we had to do was we had to educate the 10 teams in the sport because they were all afraid, since Mercedes built the car, that they were going to be the bad guys, that they were going to be the ones who were trying to wreck our car, which we had explained to them, it's not what our story's about. Our story's about our 2 drivers and their competition and how to take a last place team and win 1 race. A lot of these teams, what was interesting about what got Joe excited about making this movie is when he watched Drive to Survive, they focused on the last place team. And that's what our story's about. Our last place team was never gotten 1 point in a race. And you get a point by being 10th. So they were never 10th out of 20 cars. So it creates great drama, but that's not what this is about. It's the emotional ride that we give you, that these characters go on, that you drive with them, you take with them. We've done previews, blind previews, where we bring in an audience. They know nothing about what the movie's going to be. And then we do a focus group afterwards of 20 people. And one woman raised her hand. He said, when you told me the name of the movie, I wanted to get out. I know nothing about F1. I'm not interested in racing, but I've seen this movie. I loved it. I rated it excellent. I want to tell my friends to go see it. Then we asked them, how many of you people were involved or knew about F1 before coming in the theater? 1 hand went up. We said, how many are interested in F1 now? Every hand went up. So we take you in this world, we make you a part of this world, and we take you on this journey of somebody who wants to be redeemed, and about the teamwork it takes and how he pulls the team together. Everybody wants these things in their lives. And that's what makes this movie exciting, because we take you in their world and show you how it actually is, how it really works, because we did so much research and worked with the drivers. Everything that Brad does in this movie has come from a driver along the way that they've done. So there's nothing that's made up as far as the driving. Even there was a driver who won his first race when he had mismatched socks. And so we took that and gave that to Brad. So we take all these little things from real races and real drivers and put it into this movie. But it's the emotional journey, it's the romantic journey, the fact you have a woman running this team, which is great, which is going to happen in F1. They're all around the sport right now. And the fact that you have Damson, which is kind of, Lewis was one of the first African-American drivers to drive in the sport and became the 7-time world champion. It's just all these things that we've drawn from their world and made an emotional story around it.
The level of detail and depth in those respects is really, really powerful. Leaning into days where you were filming at active F1 events, can you kind of walk us through, I guess, some of the differences when it comes to scheduling and flow of production when you have to film at a live sporting event versus in a more controlled environment?
It's very, very difficult. And the fact that we put Brad and Damson on the tracks in front of 140,000 people, they had no idea they were in the car. And it's more difficult when you're watching, and they have 100 million people on television watching our guys going around the track. They had no idea they were in the car. But just to not spin out and be embarrassed, it adds enormous amount of tension. But, we were part of their world for 2 years. Our garage, we built our own garage. We were right in between Red Bull and Ferrari on most of the tracks. We traveled to 10 races, if you include Daytona, but 9 F1 races around the world. We were part of we were the 11th team. There were 10 teams, we were number 11.
That's something else. Do you have a single favorite memory of being on set at a live F1 event and I guess seeing the line blur between live sporting event and movie set?
Absolutely. When Brad got in the car and one of the first times he was in front of the fans, he said, God, I just hope I get through this. Because in front of all those people, to be able to drive those cars at 180 miles an hour and breaking down to 50, and you're taking 5 Gs in your neck, our actors had to, besides being in the car, they had to train every day to keep their body in tune to get in those cars. You see some of the training in the movie, and you see what the kind of expertise that goes into how they funnel their physical well-being into getting in these monster machines.
The training is something else, and like just what it does to the body is something truly I didn't fully understand until I saw this movie and then looked into it more. I wanted to make sure to squeeze in this question based on something that Hans Zimmer said about you in our press notes that I love. He said, every project you make is impossible, but the word no doesn't reach your ear. You just make it work. That left me wondering, what is the closest you've ever come to accepting a no, and how did you overcome that challenge and make it happen as you always do?
Well, you get no's for safety sometimes, and we got no for, we wanted to increase our speed at this movie, and we got a no from the insurance company. He said, no, this is what you can do. So what we did is we researched it. We got some of the real drivers to talk to the insurance company to say, look, when you go into these corners, if you're going too slow, it's very dangerous. It's not like a street car. The faster you go, the more dangerous it is. The opposite here. The faster you go, there's more downforce, which means you can corner much easier. And that's how we got the yes.
Such a fascinating fact there.
Yeah.
Oh. Something else, I'm going to say huge congratulations on F1, and I will repeat it again. I cannot believe how immersive this movie is.
Well, thank you. No, look, it was a thrill to make it. It was a thrill for me. This is why I make movies. I make movies to take you inside a world you'll never be a part of, show you how it actually works, and put you inside that world. And you're going to enjoy the emotional ride our characters take through this movie. And that's what gives you the chills, that's what makes you cry, that's what makes you laugh, and that's what makes you walk out like you had an experience. The sound, Joe spent 2 months, 8 weeks just doing the sound of this movie alone. It was a phenomenal task to make sure you could understand the dialogue, feel the sounds. Lewis Hamilton came in and said, look, in turn 3 at Silverstone, you're not in third gear, you're in second gear. So he had to change the sound. He said on turn 5, you can't pass. If you pass, there's an accident. We used that. We created an accident on turn 5. So we try to make all these stories that we heard from drivers and took the history of F1, the drivers, the shenanigans they pulled, and had our Brad do the same things.
So successful.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed.